7 Jaw-dropping facts about North Korean soldiers. Soldiers are brainwashed. One may think that no one would support violence against another person, regardless of their nationality or political affiliation. But not in North Korea here. Even if some North Korean soldiers oppose violence, army leaders are trying to change that. It is said that they spend 60% of their time learning the correct ideology. Right as in North Korea is superior to other nations and all of those other nations want to strike them. As a result, they must constantly be vigilant, obey Kim Jong-un no matter what, and be willing to risk their lives to uphold him. They reportedly do, so that future generations can lead joyful lives similar to their own. However, brainwashing isn't so hard in an isolated country. The uniforms injure the soldiers. Wearing a uniform is pretty mandatory for any army. Usually, it's a source of honor and respect. But in the isolated nation, the uniform is also a source of injuries and pain. According to former soldiers, due to economic reasons, they even have to wear thin cotton stuffed boots during the peak time of cold winter months. They aren't durable enough to keep the soldiers from getting frostbite and they eventually fall apart quickly. However, they end up hurting and causing injuries to the soldiers. Compulsory military service for everyone. Yes, everyone in this context refers to both men and women. Every man is required to serve his country for 10 years, while women are required to serve until the age of 23. But males who are fortunate enough to enroll in college and earn a bachelor's degree are permitted to serve for around 5 years following graduation. Important national scientists reportedly only served for 3 years. Perhaps the worst part is only a few citizens get graduation degrees owing to a lack of schooling. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that North Korea has the greatest army in the world in relation to its population. According to estimates, there are 47 active soldiers for every 1,000 citizens. Things are even worse for female soldiers. Nowadays, equality is a crucial factor that is taken into consideration on a global scale. Even women need to be treated equally and given the same rights as males in today's society, but that isn't precisely the situation in the North Korean army. Many women experience physical violence or humiliation during the 5 to 6 years of their mandatory military service. The right place for them is considered to be the kitchen. Former soldiers told how executive officers and commanders trouble female recruits, touching them inappropriately. It could start with a touch on the neck or hips and escalate to something even more inappropriate. Out of an estimated country's population of 51.5% of women, there is only 2.62% of women currently serving in the military. Because of the horrible conditions they live in, the hard training, and malnutrition, a lot of them skip their menstruation for years. They claim that this may be for their benefit, as they would suffer even more if they had to wash and reuse cotton pads. Military hospitals are unsafe. North Korean soldiers who have been brainwashed consider it an honor to suffer harm or perish while serving their leaders. So, what happens to the injured soldiers? They are transported to a special military treatment facility. However, those centers have no free medications. Former soldiers who were questioned about their treatment said that they had to pay for it and that even then, all they received was alcohol rubbed on them. Obviously, that only makes things worse and causes even more pain. When treatment doesn't help, they are kicked out of the army. In case of loss of life, there's no compensation for the family. Only a certificate detailing the soldier's service duration is given to them. There's no way to escape. The most natural thing to do is avoid all the suffering, pain and cruelty that seems to be escaping the army. This has been attempted numerous times, and each time it fails. Defection is not something Kim Jong-un supports, especially when soldiers attempt to leave the nation. Running away abroad often seems like the only route to safety. Those attempting to cross the Tumen River are primarily executed because the North Korean leader thinks it is harmful for the reputation of the country. Plus, military seniors who didn't stop their recruits from escaping or failed to inform them about their plot get punished too. Because of this, relatively few people have the guts to attempt to flee. The nutrition is so terrible that they can barely walk. Many people believe that 10 years of unpaid military service would be difficult enough. Then just imagine undergoing rigorous military training on a diet of raw corn kernels or a few potatoes each day, and even those aren't assured until the potato harvesting season. So, it's no surprise that 2 out of every 5 North Koreans are undernourished. However, it could also explain why many North Korean soldiers are a few inches shorter soldiers than the South Korean army. When they get too weak to train effectively, they are sent home to recover. At that point, many of them are too weak to walk unaided. Unfortunately, not everyone lives up to that point. Many soldiers pass away from hunger and related health conditions. The situation didn't end there. Soldiers battling for their life are even frequently forced to rob farms and villages for their food.